Welcome back, everybody, once again to Titans Tube. My name is Justin, and as with me, as always, is Jake. And we're in January games now, Jake. We got the Miami Dolphins coming to town, and we're here to break down this matchup in a crucial game for both teams, really. Titans win, we get the South. We have the AFC top seed still in play. We need a Chiefs loss, though, to help us along the way there. Dolphins win, and they may be getting ever closer to the most improbable playoff berth I think I've ever seen. Dude, this Miami Dolphins team in general is just a pain in the butt to play every time the Titans play them. Something crazy and stupid always happens with the Dolphins, so it's just a matter of time. I don't know what it's going to be on Sunday, but it's something dumb. It's definitely going to happen and going to make this game very miserable. As we all know, Mike Vrabel's very first game of his Titans tenure was in Miami. There was a hurricane,
thunderstorms, and all kinds of stuff.
And delays, and it was the most painful 7-hour loss of all time. Marcus Mariota hurts his elbow, never seemingly recovers. Lawan goes out with a concussion. Delaney Walker breaks his leg. It was the worst week one of all time. Hopefully the curse is over. We need to end the curse, Jake. Are you worried about something crazy happening? How are you feeling going into this?
I'm feeling good. If you did not hear it in the picks video, me and Justin will be attending this game together. This massively important Titans home game, home finale of the year for the 2021 Tennessee Titans. So it's going to be fun to get there, be loud, support the boys in two-tone blue. So I'm very excited for this game, Justin. And it's a big weekend for the NFL landscape as a whole. So tons of big games all across the league, tons of big games as far as the Titans are concerned, looking at Cincinnati, and Kansas City facing off in Cincinnati. But feeling good. As far as something weird happening, like a major weather system blowing through Nashville or something crazy out of the box, why'd you got to bring it up, man? Why do you got to even open that Pandora's box of juju and all kinds of things spilling out in the universe? So to that point, I say no comment.
Okay, maybe we can just mute this whole first segment so I never put it out into the universe. I don't know. Another interesting aspect to this game, and I've heard it mentioned, but it hasn't been discussed or made a big deal out of, and we love talking about the revenge game on Titans Tube.
Yes.
How about Ryan Tannehill? It's about time he goes to play his former team, the Miami Dolphins. It's been said, I think he said, there's no ill will, there's no bad blood whatsoever, so there's not going to be any of that edge to him, I guess, playing in this game. But yeah, interesting note here. It's the first meeting between Tannehill and his old team, so hopefully, I don't care if he says no ill will. I want vengeance. I want vengeance for Tannehill for the Dolphins trading him to us for pennies, a fourth-round pick, and he's a franchise quarterback. He has been for us. Kind of up and down this year, though. But hey, we're going to be on the up soon enough, hopefully, with Tannehill. And speaking of that, Jake, what are we looking at with the Titans passing offense going up against this Dolphins defense? The big overarching story, though, is going to be the COVID stuff.
Yes.
Who's going to be available and who's not? Both teams, every team is dealing with it, but the Titans are getting hit pretty bad, too, right now.
Yeah. So, and we've had no news as far as today. We're filming this Thursday afternoon, so everything's still very fluid. We may say a couple of players that are going to be out, that we're going to be in, or we're going to be out, but then are going to be back in. So it's a big kind of wonky mess as far as this preview is concerned, Justin, and as far as the league is concerned, because it's everywhere, man. So this passing offense, Justin, and you said Ryan Tannehill said there was no ill will. Yeah, he says that publicly. He's a nice guy. He's always trying to keep it light, keep it friendly. And you said it. They traded him for a bag of chips and pennies, Justin. And they paid the Titans to take him in that first year. The Dolphins were paying 70% of his salary while he led them to the AFC title game. So there might be a little hair of ill will in Ryan Tannehill's heart. But we'll see. We'll see if he's got that edge that, I feel like he usually carries into his play. But wide receiver room, tons of COVID this week, fluid situation. Julio was placed on it, Nick Westbrook-Akina, and practice squad darling Cody Hollister also on the COVID list right now. They could be eligible to play, like I said. We're not sure yet. So, put A.J. Brown in a bubble, make sure he's protected at all times from every angle, please. He missed practice today. That just came out for Jim Wyatt, but I don't think it's a big deal on a Thursday. If he misses again tomorrow, maybe there's kind of some eyebrow raising and praying and hoping to God, because Justin, we didn't recap the 49ers game, but you saw it in the second half. A.J. Brown took that football game over and single-handedly dragged the Titans offense to have a success. We went four straight quarters dating back to the Pittsburgh game of being shut out. We watched an entire 4 quarters of Titans offense being shut out, Justin, and they looked really bad doing it. They looked really bad in the first half. And so that shows you how important A.J. Brown is to this Titans offense to have a weapon like that. So hopefully he is still on track to go, and hopefully does not contract COVID from now until Sunday, knock on wood. Ryan Tannehill, we talked about him at the top with the revenge game, but I thought he was dealing in that second half last week, Justin, and it was good to see that confident zip on his balls. He was playing loose, playing fast, playing what we know Ryan Tannehill to be in a Titans uniform, and it was great to see him get back to that, especially with his number one man, A.J. Brown, on the field. So hopefully they can build on the success of the passing game that they saw in the second half last week. But, it's going to come at a cost, Justin. The Dolphins lead the NFL with quarterback sacks. They have 45 of them throughout the season. So that pass protection that continues to be a thorn in the Titans' side this season, it's got to step up. It's got to be better. If you were to ask one group on this Titans team before this playoff push to really, really step it up, you would say probably pass protection, because Ryan Tannehill's got no time to deal. On the other side of the ball, Justin, the Dolphins are about middle of the pack in passing defense, with giving up 234 yards a game. Xavier Howard, obviously, is a big headliner on that defense. He's got 4 picks on the year, and Byron Jones on the other side. Definitely a solid pair of corners on the edges for the Dolphins. And then Javon Holland and Eric Rowe start at safety to round out that Dolphins secondary. As far as the advantages go, Justin, I'm not sure if we're seeing the Titans turning around. Obviously, Julio Jones not involved at all, pretty much, to put it respectfully, on Thursday night. So, even if he is back, does it matter? He's more of an expensive decoy for the Titans at this juncture in the season, and I feel like that could continue. But I would maybe call it a push with the middle of the pack passing defense. But the Titans started to turn on and come alive, and it was a beautiful, beautiful Christmas miracle, because they had been in the mud, especially on the passing offense side of things, Justin. So I'll say a push. I don't know. What do you think?
I would almost say it's a generous push, because these guys, they've got players in the secondary.
Yeah,
like you said, if you combine their pass rush and their league-leading 45 sacks, and then you also add into the mix Xavier Howard, one of the better shutdown corners in the league, and if he's able to, contain A.J. Brown, this passing offense might be looking for some answers. I mean, we're going to be hoping some tight ends step up, maybe McNichols and Hilliard, some guys out of the backfield at the running back position can step up and kind of change what we can do through the air if we can't rely on these receivers who may either be shut down by a top cornerback or shut down by COVID, by not being available whatsoever. So, if we're at full strength, we are getting back the left side of our line. Yeah, that's going to be important. I think Lawan and Saffold are in line to come back after either injury or COVID testing. But so that's going to be important for pass protection and the run game. But I would call it a push, given that we're at full strength and Julio is on the field and being that expensive distraction, like you said. I think there's still something to be said as a distraction. You can't just take your eyes off him in coverage on any given play. But sure, yeah, it's the new year. Let's give ourselves Titans, a little treat and say it's a push. Too. Yeah, I could talk myself into going with the Dolphins here, but we trust in Tannehill and the 0 turnovers that thankfully he delivered us last week against the Niners. So we'll call it a push. Yeah, let's do it. Let's move on. Speaking of McNichols and Foreman, they've been mostly carrying the load. Dontrell Hilliard kind of getting lost in the rotation a little bit. Hasn't done too much really since the Patriots game going back a few weeks ago. Hopefully, he can come in and contribute, especially if the passing game needs a boost. But we'll see. Again, with the COVID, we'll see who's available with the offensive line, because even though we're getting Lawan and Saffold back, we may not be without Nate Davis and backup Kendall Lamb, who is still on the COVID list. I mean, you said A.J. Brown missed practice today. I'm like cheering because I'm like, good, just stay at home. Don't even come to the facility. Just show up at Nissan Stadium on Sunday at noon and be good to go. I don't even want to risk him contracting COVID. And it's almost like the same thing with some of our other players. Just shut down practice for a week. We got to have our best guys available to get this win. But looking at the Dolphins side, I mean, it's down to their defense. I mean, if you want to point out something that's really helped them spark this 7-game winning streak, it's been the play of their defense that's helping their offense, stay in games. With the most impressive win on that streak, I believe they beat the Baltimore Ravens, holding them to 10 total points. And I think that was when Lamar was still playing. So this defense is no joke. I mean, their front seven, they've got studs like Jerome Baker, Christian Wilkins, Landon Roberts is a force at linebacker. And I had to go back and look at the stats again, because Christian Wilkins, a defensive tackle, I think is second on their team in tackles. I did not know that was even possible. I mean, usually you got linebackers and safeties and sometimes cornerbacks, but a defensive tackle, that is really impressive. I mean, I think he's had a slow start to his career because he was a very high draft pick. But it looks like, according to the stats, he's having a great year. He also has really good players around him as well. And then, of course, you got Emmanuel Ogbah and Jalen Phillips, the rookie, who's really shining in his rookie year, leads them with 9 sacks. I think Ogbah has 8.5 sacks. So players all around. And I think they defend the run as well, too. Or they defend the run well as well, too. If I can get my words right. So a lot of playmakers, Jake. As you said, 45 sacks leads the team. And they are 7th. They rank 7th in the league against the run. I don't know if I mentioned that, at 102 yards per game. So for a running offense that kind of slowed down last week against the Niners, they're going to have to find some success here against a very stout defense to give this Titans offense some balance and to help out that passing game a little bit. So again, Jake, it's going to be some tough sledding. Would you give us the advantage here, or should it go to the Dolphins or another push?
It's tough. The bias in me wants to say another push, but it was kind of the bias that made that initial push on the passing side of things. So we can give the Dolphins the slight advantage here, especially with, like you said, last week against San Francisco, the running attack really, really did slow down. But look, I still am a big believer in Deontay Foreman right now. And I think Jeremy McNichols has stepped up in a big way after he was initially lost in the shuffle due to injuries. And I think COVID forced him to miss some time. But I think it's not. I think it's a fair nod to give the slight advantage, because this is Titans to the top 10 rushing defense of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're probably going to take our rushing defense when we get there, Jake. Unit is. But I don't want to get too far ahead. Why don't you take it away with our next category, flipping sides of the ball? How are we liking this Tua Tagovailoa against what we like to think is a pretty much playoff-ready defense? They have been rolling lately, playing really good. Who are we matching up here with?
Yeah, Justin, I don't see why any reason that the Titans defense is not playoff ready. You look at the numbers, the Titans coming in 26th passing defense in the league. I feel is a really deceiving stat, because it's, we always measure in yards per game because that's the number one kind of statistic, if you will. But it's the Titans defense is getting healthy at the right time. Elijah Molden returning from the COVID list, and this secondary is looking healthy. Jackrabbit Jenkins didn't practice today, but I also think that is more of a precautionary thing with A.J. Brown. He's an old vet. And then Buster Screen, more of a depth guy, but he's also on COVID. So, again, fluid statuses for the back end of this defense. Byard and Hooker remain to be an incredible force safety position. And shout out Dane Cruikshank, who has become kind of the tight end stopper of this defense. They took away George Kittle on Thursday night. I couldn't have been more proud of this defense for taking away George Kittle on Thursday night the way that they did. So you feel good about this Titans secondary, even though they give up, the fifth most or sixth most passing yards in the league. You feel good about them being healthy. You feel good about the overall state of the Titans defense. Miami's side of the ball, Justin, they're middle of the pack passing attack. That's a good rhyme, middle of the pack passing attack. But they come in averaging 224 yards a game. And Tua rolling into town. Say what you want about Tua, but he's got a solid stable of weapons on the outside. Jalen Waddle, obviously, on pace for well over 1,000 yards on the season. And Mike Gesicki, is his go-to tight end target. Devontae Parker, also a great option at wide receiver. So they have guys and they have a lot of talent on this offense, Justin, but comes down to Tua executing. Tua can have good days. Tua can have bad days. And that's been kind of what the story's been for the Miami Dolphins. As you can see, they were lost 7 games in a row and they won 7 games in a row. So it's hard to argue against the Titans defense right now. So I want to say slight advantage to the Titans because I have faith in the pass rush. Talk about somebody else who's on the COVID list right now, Bud Dupree and Danico Autry, fluid statuses for Sunday as it stands right now. So hopefully they can return to action and provide that needed boost to the Titans secondary and overall pass defense. I would maybe call it a push, but Titans bias to tilts that needle to be a slight Titans advantage.
Yeah.
Very biased.
A lot of these do. Good. Yeah. A lot of these matchups do feel like the fan bias has to turn the needle back to the Titans because on paper, it seems kind of even when you look at the stats and the personnel and who knows who's going to be available. I mean, dude, Autry and Dupree are going to be so crucial for us to be available. I mean, we saw the difference in just Bud Dupree not being available for the pass rush. And that was huge. And to not have him and Autry is going to be really tough to overcome because, Tua is still – he can be prone to making mistakes and getting pressure on him. Mm-hmm. And really, the Dolphins' passing attack in general, I haven't watched a lot of Dolphins games, but it feels like everything is short to mid-range. They don't have a deep passing game at all. It's always dinking and dunking with Tua. And it can work. It's effective. I mean, Jalen Waddle is very good yards after catch receiver there. So we got to be ready for him. It's going to be big to have Molden back. You like Christian Fulton. Love the way he's shaping out to be kind of that shutdown corner. Had his struggles a bit against Deebo Samuel last week, but I mean, he's a superstar player. You're going to get mad at Fulton for not locking up Deebo to 0 catches or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the challenge is now Jalen Waddle. I don't know if it's going to be Molden. I don't know if it's going to be Fulton or hopefully an elderly kind of hobbled Jackrabbit won't be seeing young, fast, shifty Jalen Waddle. I feel like that's a bad matchup personnel-wise. Mm-hmm. But, we're going to have to take away 1 or 2 of those weapons, and then you got Gesicki to worry about as well. But I love the Dane Cruikshank play against tight ends, as you have mentioned. And if he did that against George Kittle, you could almost hope and assume that he's going to be that not as effective. I mean, George Kittle had like 2 catches. Incredible. If Gesicki gets 2 catches, again, let's build Dane Cruikshank a statue as the tight end killer. Yes. But I don't know. I think Tua might be a little bit better at getting the ball to his receivers than Jimmy G was last night, given his hand injury, and he just looked off in general. Mm-hmm. But I'll take the Titans. You gotta like this defense and how they're playing, and hopefully we can get some pressure and rattle Tua a little bit. To make him less effective with his pretty good precision accuracy in the short to mid-range game. Yeah. And hopefully Titans defense, with the way they're swarming, can keep everything in front of them and really make the Dolphins work, really work to move the ball down the field. All that to say is I agree with you. Let's get the advantage. No,
I love it. And it's no disrespect, obviously, to the Dolphins offense. It's just, the Titans, even though statistically not be the best secondary on paper, they're just putting it together as an entire defensive unit right now to get it done. So we feel playoff ready. We feel it in our hearts. Defense wins championships. Justin, I think we got a good one in Nashville, and especially on the rushing side of things. We like to call it the crown jewel of the Titans 2021 season.
Oh boy, they are, and oh man, do they have a favorable matchup with this Dolphins rushing attack. Titans still at second in the league in rush yards allowed per game by like a yard, I think, to the Ravens. So maybe we can get to be first overall by the time the season's over. But the Dolphins are coming in 30th ranked in the NFL in rush yards per game. Jake, does that give you confidence, or is it now time to panic? Because, of course, now Myles Gaskins and, I don't know, Duke Johnson, they're going to go for 250 yards on this defense because it feels like the Titans would do stuff like that. But no. Danico Autry's going to play. Bud Dupree's going to play. We're going to shut this 30th ranked rushing attack down. We're going to bump them down even another notch to 31st, hopefully.
I like it.
But, dude, again, talking about on paper, the rushing attack doesn't really scare you on paper with Duke Johnson, Myles Gaskins, he's decent, but I think he's been dealing with an injury. I think it was questionable last week. And then Phillip Lindsay is on their team now. Didn't we play him already with the Texans? Was that or has he been with the Dolphins this whole season?
Maybe he played with the Texans last year.
Maybe. Yeah. He was definitely with them last year. I don't know why I assumed it was.
He's a very fever dream NFL player. You know, you feel like he bounces around so much. You're like, where's Phillip Lindsay fit? You know, and I'm surprised he's in Miami.
He's a fever dream player. I like that. Hopefully he's, this running back by committee can be contained. Something to watch too, though, is Tua. I mean, with the RPOs, I mean, that's an element to their offense that the Titans have got to be ready for. But hey, we have had some success against the elite RPO offense and player in Lamar Jackson. We've done pretty well against offenses that have utilized that. Shockingly, I don't know how, but it seems like, we kind of have Lamar's number. I know he beat us in the playoffs last year. Okay, I'm not going to forget about that. But in the playoff game before that, and the regular season game last year, Titans have done pretty well at containing those type of offenses and styles. So hopefully, he doesn't have the speed as that Lamar does either. So, So hopefully we can shut that down. So I like it. I like the advantage. Hopefully the Titans don't blow it and do the reverse of what you think they're going to do and let the Dolphins run all over them. But if we're at full strength, there's no reason why this rush defense should have trouble against this Miami run attack.
I agree, Justin. And, speaking of full strength, this defense ramping up, I don't think the return of David Long Jr. can be understated. It's going to be massive. Yeah. He's been practicing fully the past 2 days. Obviously, we've seen people do that and not practice on Friday and then be out. So fluid situations for almost every single player we've been listing. I don't think his return can be understated. I don't think Zach Cunningham's addition to this defense could be understated. The dude is a dog. He plays fast, hard. And you just love the way this Titans defense is coming together right now as a unit. Like I said in mine, it's working together in harmony. Rush defense and pass rush complements the back end, and the back end seems to cover long enough for them to get there. They keep everything in front of them. You've said they've swarmed to the ball. They aren't gang tacklers, man. They are just dude after dude, blue jersey after blue jersey getting in there. So love this defense. I think that they do rise to the task and not pull the opposite card like they love to do, Justin.
Yeah, great bringing up David Long Jr. because he's that kind of sideline to sideline speed kind of linebacker. Zach Cunningham's kind of the same way too, but I think that especially in terms of the RPO, style, I think they neutralize that very well in just the type of players they are. So if we're able to get David Long Jr. back, that's going to help this defense out tremendously against Tua in this offense. I think we got the advantage. What do you say about special teams? What anything interesting to say about them this week?
What do we say about special teams, Justin? How about our guy, Randy Bullock, knocking through his third game winner on the year? Say what you want about Randy missing kicks here and there, but the dude hits game winners. He doesn't hit game tires like in East Rutherford against the Jets earlier this season.
He's not about that life. No.
Yeah, that's small beans, dude. He's going to hit the game winners. He's clutch. That's his third this year. So the hat trick for Randy Bullock, hats off to you, sir. And I thought Kern had a decent day after kind of struggling his past couple of outings. I thought he was putting a lot of air under the ball. getting a little better distance on his kicks, flipping the field a little more effectively. On
Yep.
Miami's side of the ball, Jason Sanders is their place kicker, and punter Michael Hallardy, I think is how you say his name.
University of Tennessee, shout out.
There you go. The
go.
Volunteers, always producing great punters. Maybe they are punter you,
Sure.
Justin. Punter you. I'm sure they're clamoring to be that for the brand, man. You never know. They'll get an NIL sponsorship from Pat McAfee. And, something to note with this Dolphins special teams, Jalen Waddle has been a threat to return punts and kicks and just be that kick returner for them.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a knockdown, drag out game, Justin. I really do think that. And the hidden yards that come in special teams that Mike Vrabel likes to bring up, I think they play a huge factor in this game. But I'm not sure how we base these special teams advantages usually, because we kind of make them up as we go. So off of weekly momentums, Justin, I'm going to say the Titans get it because Randy Bullock on fire, man. Knock on wood always, but can't say anything bad about him this week.
I know, dude. We would be praying to the good Lord above for this kind of kicking performance the last couple years, and we're getting a pretty good one. Yes, he's missed some kicks. He hasn't made all of his extra points, but he's won us 3 games, like you said, 3 game-winning kicks. Super, super clutch, and we're happy to have him. And hopefully he keeps it going in a game where I'm expecting it to be pretty close. And it's a good point about Jalen Waddle being an effective punt returner, because that's one thing that can really propel a Miami Dolphins win, is just that one play, that one big play. If the Titans give up a long punt return touchdown, that could change the complexion of everything. So super important for the Titans to shut all that down. But sure, we love our guys. They're coming off a good week. I guess we base special teams more on how did the Titans perform in the last game. And if they played well, we're just going to give ourselves the advantage.
It's a weekly make it up as you go kind of thing. Always in-depth analysis at Titans too.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's get on to our predictions and keys to the game. I guess I'll throw mine in right quick here. I feel like it's going to be a slow moving game for the offense. We're going to need I don't know if we're going to need like turnovers, but it would sure help. We do not need to turn the ball over. We got to be careful. A big key for me is to protect Tannehill. It's amazing that they lead the league in sacks with 45, and they do not have a single player with double-digit sacks yet. So they're spreading out the sacks very well. They can come at you in different ways with different players. They're very deep, I can only assume, in the pass rush department. So this pass protection has got to be good, Jake. This was where the game could be lost. I don't want to see another Arizona Cardinals week 1 where we got a guy in Chandler Jones ripping off 5 sacks, and I think the team got 6 or 7 sacks. So we don't need any ugliness there on that side of the ball. Defensively, I'm really looking at 2 guys. I'm looking at Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki as guys that can beat this team. They're 2 best players on offense. We got to find ways to neutralize them and shut them down. Jalen Waddle he's a talented player. He's going to make plays. He's going to get his catches. We got to just stay composed, keep everything in front. They like the short passes. So he might have 10 catches, but let's keep it to 10 catches for 70 yards and not let him break a long one. And I would take that. And kind of the same thing for Gesicki. Hopefully Dane Cruikshank can have another repeat performance. Going to be big time for our defense to slow down this pass game. Because if we're able to do that, I trust this rush defense to do their thing. And it's going to be very difficult for Miami to move the ball on this defense if they can't get anything through the air. Having said all that, I like the Titans in kind of a lower scoring-ish, grindy game. I'll take the Titans winning by 7, 23-16. I'll take that.
I like that. I like it. And that's a cover for the Titans, 3.5 point home favorites after not being favorite for a while here, Justin. So, I guess after being a home dog last week at San Francisco. And, speaking of that San Francisco game, Justin, there was a main stat on the TV bug that popped up on Thursday night that really, really made watching that game an absolute chore in the first half, because you saw the bad Titans in the first half, and you saw what the Titans can be in the second half of that game. And that's why it was so insane that they, pull a Christmas miracle rug from out from under you at halftime after doing nothing in the first half. And okay, so that score bug, that stat bug came up and said 8 out of the Titans' first 11 first down plays. So their first 11 sets of first down, they went backwards on 8 of 11 plays. They moved backwards. And so you're setting yourself up in second long. And what does Todd Downing love to do? What does every Titans offensive coordinator since, Terry Robisky love to do? Run on second and long. And that was not working against San Francisco. And then you'd have 3rd and 13. And obviously that is not a recipe for the Titans offense to have success. A.J. Brown can't bail you out every single week and play that superhero role.
Somebody tell Todd Downing it is okay to throw the ball to A.J. Brown on 1st and 2nd down. We don't have to just do it on 3rd down every time. It's almost like the Titans were like, oh, yeah, we have A.J. Brown in the second half. Let's just go to him all the time. And we should have been doing that the whole game. But, yes, didn't mean to cut you off there. But, man, good point. This team has got to be better on 1st and 2nd down. That was getting ridiculous.
They have to get better and to give themselves any chance to have offensive success in the absence of Derrick Henry. Titans fans were clamoring for his return from IR tweet this week. Not quite yet. We'll have to be patient on that. I don't think we're going to see Derrick Henry till the playoffs, no matter what kind of rumors or reports come out. But for the Titans offense to have a chance, they have to be better on 1st and 2nd down. They just have to be to do anything in this playoff stretch and hopefully secure, the AFC South on Sunday. And you said it, it's also win the turnover battle. Good things happen when you win the turnover battle. The Titans offense, no matter how sluggish or terrible they were in the first half, Justin, they didn't turn it over. And that gave the defense a chance to operate the way that they do on a normal schedule or, normal drives where the opponent starts in their own territory instead of gifting it to them on the 30. So hopefully Tannehill and the offense can play another clean game. And if they just don't put the ball on the turf or Tannehill doesn't make that one block-headed throw where, into a linebacker's chest, the Titans are in every football game they've been in, because they haven't turned the ball over. And it's just that simple when it gets down to late January football, like you said. I also like the Titans winning and securing the AFC South with me and Justin in the stands together, cheering passionately with our hearts. I think they win in a higher scoring game. I think we see some fireworks, quote unquote, out of this Titans offense. Wink, wink. They put up 27 points, Justin. And the Miami Dolphins put up 16. 27 to 16.
I thought you said 60, and I was like, oh, we're going to see a lot of opposite fireworks. You said 16.
Yeah, 16.
Scared me a little bit, man. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of fireworks. 27 points. That would be more than what we're used to this past month or so. Mm-hmm. I would take that. Man, yeah, it'll be an interesting game. I mean, the Dolphins are a desperate team. They're going to be coming in looking to play their best football of the season. They got some great players, but also on this 7-game streak, of course, they've beaten a lot of the Giants and the Jets and the Texans and the Panthers, I think. So I think they did beat Baltimore, but this Titans team is one of the best teams they will have encountered during their winning streak, and they have them on the road. So we'll see. If the Dolphins do come in here and beat the Titans, then I think this is a playoff team. This is not a mirage. So that's not going to happen, though. Why would I even say those words? It's going to be the Titans winning and clinching the division, of course. But, I like it. I am confident going into this game, but I was also confident going into Pittsburgh. And then I was not confident at all going into the San Francisco game. So I don't know how to feel, Jake. My emotions
as his life, man. As his life as a Titans fan.
Yeah, they just toy with my emotions too much. It's not healthy, but dude, hopefully they can deliver a New Year's. They can start the New Year's off right for us Titans fans and get a W, clinch a playoff spot, and we can relax a little bit going into Houston. But if the Chiefs lose, we're not going to be relaxing at all. We got number 1 seed in our sights.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love to hear it. It all starts with the Titans taking care of business at noon Central Time at Nissan Stadium. If you're there, prove Logan Ryan wrong. If you're in Nashville, go to the game, get loud. Let's go clinch a division. Let's go, put the Dolphins in their playoff grave, so to speak. I love it.
Ooh.
Justin, I cannot wait to attend this game with you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Everybody have a great football weekend. Happy New Year to all of you out there, and let's go get a dub on Sunday.
Let's go get a dub. I love it. Also, real quick, well, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention this, but rest in peace, John Madden, one of the great icons of all time. Maybe we should have started at the top of the show with that, but hey, we got to shout him out. I mean, I grew up with him with Al Michaels on Monday Night Football. I don't know where you came into the picture, but they did that for a long time. So a big part of me growing up and watching him, and yeah, a huge impact on the game, for sure. So big loss for football. But yeah, he's a legend. So had to shout
Absolutely. Absolutely. Forever immortalized, obviously, NFL, video games, Madden, they'll be known as Madden forever. You know, you look around at other video games, NBA 2K, NHL the year, you know, but this one is Madden. It's his name just immortalized on it. And, you know, you can go on and on about his coaching career and his career in the broadcast booth. I also caught the tail end of his career with Al Michaels on NBC, I believe. But yes, rest in peace, John Madden. Hats off to you, sir, for real. Got to get the hair out of my face. And a football guy's football guy. So RIP. Let's go win one for John on Sunday.
Yeah, do it for John. Yes. Everyone knows he was a Titans fan deep down. Let's go.
I like it. Peace out, y'all.
All right. See ya.